Alright guys, there's not very many videos out there. I couldn't hardly find maybe one showing how to put a stereo in your Dodge Dakota. So I'm going to show you today. 97 body style all the way up to 04, pretty much the same. They did revamp the interior in 01. This is an 02, so this is the little bit newer interior. I think on the 97 to 2000s, you would just kind of grab the dash panel right here and pull straight out. It would all be clips. On this one, it's pretty much the same. This is all clips right here, but you do have to pull 2 Phillips screws out from right here above the instrument cluster, so we're gonna do that real quick. All right, got the screws out there. They just look like that. Short little guys, so don't lose them. Now the next thing we gotta do is I like to tilt the steering wheel down and pull the shifter all the way down to give you some extra room. So you want to make sure you're on flat ground and either set the parking brake or chock the wheels. And we'll turn the ignition on and drop this shifter all the way down into 1. Give us the most room. And grab our tilt here and put the wheel all the way down. Alright, now normally I'd use like a piece of plastic or a plastic pry wire, something softer to pry along here, but all I have is a screwdriver, so I'm just going to be kind of careful not to scratch the plastic all up. So you want to kind of weasel it in there, then kind of pull it down a bit, and then you're just going to work your way around, pulling down and out as you go. When I grab this little panel here on the left side, there's a little hole for your fingers. Just grab it and yank out. As you can see, this trim panel comes all the way around, and you want to pull forward on that. Sorry, it's kind of hard to hold the camera here and do it at the same time, so I pulled here. It's kind of tough, but you just pull at the top here. I got the one clip loose, and kind of move to the other side. Now you don't have to pry like this, but I don't like the feeling of that, so I'm gonna just keep pulling at it until I get all this pulled apart. There's also this knee bolster here that you'll have to pull down just a little bit. You don't have to totally take it off, but just unclip it. So you'll grab right here on the steering column and just pull straight back towards you. You can see these tabs here, they come undone, just to give some clearance because it covers this up. So now this is loose. Keep working our way around. All right, we're getting there. It's kind of tough. I mean, this thing is in there pretty good. So you just kind of gotta have some strength while you're pulling here and work your way around, and just, you can kind of feel like right here it'll be tight, so you'll pull there, and then it'll be loose here, and then it'll be tight up here again, pull there. Kind of feel where all the clips are. I think we're at the last clip right here. Come over, right there's one. Might be one down here by the 4-wheel drive. Oh, it's gotta be right here. Yeah, all right, now we're ready to pull this guy out. And this is where tilting the wheel and putting the shifter down is gonna help you. Now what you gotta do is, I'm going to open the door here to give me some more room, but you got to tilt it forward and unplug the back of your light switches and your HVAC plugs and all that, so you have enough clearance to pull the panel. Alright, so here's the back of the HVAC panel. You'll see there's a, oops, sorry. There's a little tab right there you got to push in and pull the plug out. Kind of push and wiggle. Might have to put the camera down, but don't pull by the wires. Make sure you pull by the plug, otherwise you might rip a wire out. So there's the one. There's another one right next to it over here, same thing. Now comes the fun part for the headlight switch. These plugs are not very fun. You gotta slide this red locking tab. There's 2 ways you can do it. You can push this part down, or put a little flathead right here. Push and try to twist it like that. Once you get at that point, it's just pushing that tab in and unplug it. Alright, very last one. If you have four-wheel drive, I've got to unplug the electronic four-wheel drive back here. I think there's a tab on the bottom of it here. There we go. Now, panel is all done. Set it up there, get out of our way. I'll take the stereo out. We got 4 Phillips head screws, 1 at each corner, so we're gonna take those out now. Alright, we got all the screws out, so we're just gonna grab it and pull, or at least it should be that simple. Let's see here. Yep, she's just old and in there. Okay, so I'm gonna turn my radio off. I'm gonna unplug the antenna here. Oh, there she goes. That's what you get for doing one-handed work. And then got a tab on the back side here. We're gonna unplug that plug. I don't know if you can see this on camera or not, but once you unplug the headlight switch, the headlights come on. So at this point, you either have to plug the switch back in or work fast so you don't kill your batteries. But if you turn the ignition off, the headlights go out. Here's the radio I got. CDX-GT710HD. Cheaper radio, I like it. This is the filler panel made by Metra, 99-6503 part number. We also have the antenna adapter, part number 40-CR10. Not sure who this one's made by. Oh, sorry, it's Metra again. Looking at the wrong side. And the adapter harness is part number CH-6001. Doesn't say on here, but I believe this is Metra brand as well. Got to make sure. I went to Best Buy and they looked it up by my year, make, model, and they gave me the 2-plug style originally, which is like what Jeep Cherokees take. So I had to go back and get the single square one, which is what the Dakota, at least this year, and the Grand Cherokees take. So make sure you get the right one here. Alright, so here is the harness that comes with my Sony radio. You've got 13 wires total, including this ground here. So you got 2 options. You can either ground this to something metal in your dash. On here, what I would do is probably take this screw out and stick the ring connector back behind this plastic piece between this here metal bracketry, so behind there, and then put the screw back in so that it grounds it. But we got this here adapter, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try first just splicing the black ground to this black wire right here. You can solder the wires or you can use butt connectors. I'm going to butt connect it just because I think it's a little bit easier. So I'm going to take it over to a table and do that so I don't get all these insulation pieces all in my truck. But it's pretty easy. You just match color to color, you know, green to green, red to red, blue to blue, all that. Just pay attention because as you see here, there's 2 grays and 2 purples. You know, one gray is all gray and one of them's got gray with a black stripe. One of the purples is all purple and the other one is purple with a black stripe. So just pay attention to that. Alright, so here we have the harness. The Metra one that you bought, you should be able just to pull, it should be pre-stripped, you just pull the ends off. But you'll have to strip the ends on these ones. So you can either use something like this effect, crimper and stripper, or one of these. So I'm going to go ahead and strip all these ones and start matching colors. Like I said, you can either solder it or use a butt connector. I have this style butt connector. It's a heat shrink butt connector. So after you crimp it down, you can heat this part up right here with a heat gun or a mini torch like this, and it'll shrink it. And not only will it keep corrosion out, but it'll grab the insulation of the wire so it doesn't pull apart as easy. Just another quick note, this blue wire here is where you would tap in if you had a subwoofer or you needed power to your amp. So you'd have to cram that wire in with the blue. So we have everything put together here. We're just gonna take our plugs and put them together. Make sure you hear them click together. Like that. We've got our antenna adapter here. These are not fun to plug in sometimes, they can be a pain. Well, that one was pretty easy actually. Make sure it's in there nice and tight. Now we're going to take our faceplate and put it onto the radio. That. Then there's this little metal sheath right here that we're going to have to remove so we can install on our filler panel. Alright, so we got our filler panel here. This is the back side of it. You'll notice it says, well, it's kind of hard to see there, but it says top. That faces upwards. And what you got to do is set it over your little metal bracket here for the radio. You'll notice this edge of the bracket is kind of thin, and the outside has this lip on it. So make sure that that lip is facing the outside edge of your filler panel, and push it all the way in. That. Now what you have to do, this one bottoms out. There we go. What you have to do is take a screwdriver or pliers, and you can see there's these little triangle tabs here. You gotta bend those up and fold them back, and that's what holds this bracket to that filler panel. Alright, so as you can see, I've located, there's a couple different options you can do for how far set in the panel is. I found these little triangles to be the closest ones to the filler panel for the tightest fit, so I got ahead and bent that one back as well as this one over here, and then on the flip side there's also two, one there and one there, and you can see it's on there pretty good now. So now we can go ahead and slide our radio in. Double check again, we got top right there, that's going to be the top, like that. So we'll put our radio in the proper way. Slide her in just like that. Now it's one assembly, just make sure to slide it in until you hear it click. Now we're going to go ahead, plug our, I'll double check that our 10 amp fuse is in there. Then we're going to plug our antenna in here, and our main harness plug in right there. Now's a good time to check everything before you put it back together in case you mess something up. So I heard, there goes brand new radio. I heard the radio kind of do its little calibration when I first plugged it in, so we're gonna flip the key on, make sure everything works.
Food and beverage, and that's from Lodge Robbinsdale.
Alright, so everything's working. Go ahead and tinker with the settings after it's been put in, but now all we gotta do is same steps as if we did excuse me, same steps we did to take it apart. Tuck all your wires up in there. We'll set the radio panel in there, and we'll put our 4 Phillips screws back in. You can see there's this little alignment dowel right there. You're gonna have to get that in, and then there's one on the other side as well for helping to align it. Alright, we've got all 4 of our Phillips screws back in. Now we're gonna reinstall our panel and plug in all the HVAC controls, the 4-wheel drive, and the headlight switch. Put this guy over here. Kind of a tight fit, we might not be able to see the camera here. Actually, we're going to do the 4-wheel drive first, because that one is going to be the tightest fit. That goes way back here. Here, click in. Next we'll plug this big guy in. And then this little one. Yeah, man. There we go. And then move over back to this side. And actually we're gonna have to push the panel now. We're gonna have to weasel it past the steering wheel and everything and get it back down, kind of set more in place before we can plug the headlight switch back in. Alright, so I've got the dash far enough into place where I can reach back here. We can plug in this headlight switch. Kind of a tight harness, it doesn't reach very far. Come on, there we go. Make sure you hear it click in and then slide this red tab back up. And now we can go ahead and push all of our snaps back in for our dash. Alright, we got all the snaps pushed back in. Now we're going to put these two Phillips screws back in. Okay, now we are gonna push this bottom one back up into place. Might take a little bit of grunt work. I'm gonna need to use two hands here, so I put the camera down. Alright, so I fought this thing to get it back together, but an easier way to do it would have been just to take these, there's a screw there, and then one on the other side right there. On the other side of the hood latch. T20 Torx. That would have been a lot easier. Otherwise you gotta fight to get this bottom panel back in. But now that that's in, we can take the last panel here and put that into place. Alright, so there we go, it's all in. Put her back into park. Make sure all my headlight and four-wheel drive, blower motor, all that works. And that's it for your radio. Now if you have a Sony like this one, keep watching. I'll show you how to do a couple things to it. If you hold, or sorry, I just shut it off for this. If you hold that down, got all these different settings here. Turn demo off so it doesn't keep scrolling through and flashing all these colors. Dimmer I usually leave on auto. Color, as you can see, we got green dash lights, so I'm probably gonna set mine to the dark green just to match everything. Like that. White menu. Alright. Set the clock. Alright, now should be another, if you hold it down, I believe, center button. Maybe just tap it, there we go. You can turn the beep on and off. Not sure what BTM is or any of that fun stuff, but let's plug the iPod in. Oh, look at that, there's my other Sony out, my other truck. Okay. There we go, our sound. DM I usually turn on, it makes it a little bit clearer. Loud I like on. This would be for your bass if you had subs. I usually just go to the presets and I pick like Explode or something. That's pretty much it. Once you exit, it'll go back to your normal screen. That's it. You can see here on the iPod, it says, you know, the deck is controlling it right now. So you can change that by holding this mode button. Hold it down. Now you can control with the iPod. I like to pick a song that, you know, has decent bass, guitar, and everything put together, and just kind of pick your preset or set your own bands as you please, and then go from there. I'll just give you a little sound test here. It's probably kind of hard for you to tell on camera here, but you know, the Mopars have always had really good sound systems stock, and I just have it on the Explode setting right now. It's not cranked on bass or anything, you know. I mean, it's probably half, 3/4 of the way up is maybe how they have it set up. But I'm just gonna play this little bit for you, and you can hear it actually hits pretty darn hard. I got it on 20 right now, which is about what I cruise around at. You know, it's not deafening, but it is pretty good. So yeah, I gotta say I like the sound out of this thing. I mean, it was a $120 deck. I got this in 2 other vehicles as well, so that's the whole reason I bought it, is I'm familiar with how to use it. And that's it. Thank you.